If you're finding yourself trying to work out what work that you're here to do, I'd love to share with you the tool that I use to really find myself right in the center of my calling. And that is asking yourself what lights you up. Now, it sounds like the most simple tool that it's like, how could that possibly help me get where I want to get to? But I promise you it works. I'd spent so many years, since I was a teenager, I knew that I wanted to be a writer. I knew that I wanted to be writing about the journey of the soul and all of the stuff that comes with that. But I found myself in inaction because I never felt ready, and I was waiting almost like for permission and waiting for a step-by-step guide of how to get there and what that endpoint would be before I actually act on it. It wasn't until around 2010 and 11 when my whole life came crumbling down, basically. And it was as if the universe turned off all the lights. So I had no choice but to find my own. And looking back, that was actually the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Because I was forced to actually ask myself, okay, what does light me up? Because I really needed to tend to that inner light. And so I asked myself, okay, what does light me up? And one of the answers I got, which was, it felt really silly at the time. It was like flowers. I was like, flowers, that's not that insightful. What's so special about flowers? But I knew that I needed to trust my intuition and the things that came through. So I said, okay, fine. And I realized how my whole life I had adored flowers, but I'd waited for someone else to give them to me, which is just freaking ridiculous. And, I got a few bunches, but the flowers didn't really come very much. And so at this point I was like, okay, great. I'm going to do something extravagant. I'm going to give myself a 20-pound budget for flowers every single week. And I take myself to the market or the local florist. And I got to say, it was really hard at first because I was like, I can't spend 20 pounds on flowers. I'll buy the cheap ones. But baby step by baby step, I ended up splurging. And then that's where I discovered the peony, which if you've been following me for a while, you know I am obsessed with the peony. It's like it has magical powers. And the beauty of the peony is that as I watched it, because it starts tight as a bud, and then as it opened and opened and opened and opened, my heart began to open too. And as it opened and opened and opened and opened and opened and opened and opened, and it opens, it's like it then opens 10 times more. That's why this flower is so amazing. What happened was my soul stepped forward, my spirit stepped forward. And so looking at this flower for me, because beauty is really important to me, what happened was that I was able to activate the spirit in me. And the thing is, when you're in spirit, that's where you get inspired. That's where that word comes from, inspired, in spirit. And as I then kept on buying myself flowers, and as you can see here, I now surround my house. My office is like a flower den, pretty much. It's a combo of fake silk ones, and then also because I gave myself flowers, I then get given them all the freaking time. It is phenomenal. Seriously, it's amazing. I got a flower subscription just this past Christmas. So every single week I get the most amazing bunch of wildflowers. It's phenomenal. Anyway, I digress. So by giving myself this one simple baby thing that lit me up, what happened was I was inspired, and then I'd start to hear the whispers of my soul. I'd then write them down in my little moleskin, which I started to call Rebecca Thoughts. And I did that every day and posted them on Instagram and then posted them on my blog. And then they started to get a bit of traction. And so I decided to then turn them into my instant guidance oracle. And from my instant guidance oracle, I then started preparing a book proposal, which I sent to Hay House. And it wasn't until I got the book proposal approved, which was amazing. And then it wasn't until the moment I was literally clicking file and save on my laptop on the very last chapter of my book that I looked up and I discovered I was right in the center of Regent's Park Rose Garden, where I'd ridden so much of the book, literally from park bench to park bench to park bench. And in that moment, I was just blown away by how answering that simple question of what lights you up, what lights me up, I suddenly had a book. And yeah, I showed up every day, but it was effortless because I was in my spirit. I was inspired. I was lit up. I was following the things that just opened my heart. And then I lost myself in the doing, and then the creation happened. So don't underestimate the power of this simple little question. And yeah, I'd invite you guys to answer it maybe in the comments below or in your notebook, and write a list of 10 things that light you up. Don't get bogged down with they have to be humongous things. Like, yeah, sure, writing might be one of them, but it might also be going to the ocean or talking with a friend, or it could be Vegemite toast for any Australians out there who know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I challenge you guys to write a list of 10 things that light you up, and then choose one of them to incorporate in your week every single week.